Hello, we are live and welcome to the Cruise Amigo show. And this one is coming live from London. Right, before I introduce our wonderful guest, I've got to say hello to our fellow amigos, haven't I? So, coming from Virginia, live from Virginia, we have Chili Falls from Chili Cruises. Hi, Chili.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Hi, y'all.
Yeah, hi, Chili.
Y'all.
And we also have from Minnesota, our regular pot farmer. We have John Reitmeyer. Hi, John. Say hello, John.
Hello, John. How are you?
Right. I'm Pete. I'm coming from London. I want to say a massive hello to Ernest Marchain, who's coming live from Las Vegas. Hi, Ernest. Welcome to our show.
Las Vegas.
Well, thanks, Pete. It's great to be here.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, Ernest, we've got a few things to talk about today. We've got an hour. It's amazing how quickly the hour goes. Now, a few things. First of all, you are a cruise director for Azamara line.
Correct.
But before that, and also you live in Las Vegas. So we want to talk about Las Vegas because the boys, our fellow amigos, know Las Vegas very, very well, yeah?
I'm sure they do.
We want to talk about Starlight Express, yeah?
Oh, boy, yeah.
Now, the guys don't know much about Starlight Express. Now, Starlight Express, it's a hit musical. It was, I think it started at the Apollo in Victoria. Now, I've seen that show, God knows how many times. It's obviously gone on tour to Buckham, to Las Vegas. Now, could you please could you explain to the guys, because they're so confused about trains and races. Can you explain exactly what Starlight Express is, please, Ernest?
Oh, geez. The best way to describe it, and the way I describe it, is it's Angela Weber musical, of course, and he wrote it for his kids. And the story is the little engine that could. You know, I think I can, and that is Rusty, the character Rusty. And basically, it's just a show about making sure that your dreams come true through your hard work and your perseverance. We all portray trains. We all wear roller skates. I hear in the early days when Angela Weber was trying to figure out how to stage this, they looked at skateboards. They looked at wheelchairs, as a matter of fact, which, boy, that would have been something. And then they finally came down to roller skates. So it is probably the hardest show that any performer will ever do. The company in Bochum, as a matter of fact, that's a 3-month rehearsal period because a lot of the people are not German. They have a lot more Germans now doing the show. But back in the day, they didn't have, the musical theater talent that they have now. So they had a lot of Americans and English and Australian and New Zealanders and Canadians and Hungarians. I mean, all around the world. And of course, a lot of us didn't speak German at all. So we had to learn the language. We do a huge skate school when we first get there. The first 2 weeks, you get your skates fitted, you put them on, and very nice, John. And pretty much you don't take your skates off for 2 weeks. And our coach, Michael Fraley, he trains us 8 hours a day. You're talking about blisters. You're talking about sore muscles. We do a lot of skating in the hallways. We have the ballet rooms. We get up early in the morning. We do our strength training. And that really goes for the first couple of weeks. And then we, start getting the music. We start learning phonetically the German, and then there's also German classes too that they teach us, so we know exactly what we're singing about. So it is an amazing show. Like I said, the show is about perseverance and finding your dream. And the character Rusty is the little engine that could, the little steam train. And then there's there he is. Yeah, I look exactly the same. That's from the Las Vegas company in 1996. I did that from 96 to 97. That was at the Las Vegas Hilton. And so Rusty is a young steam train. There's Greaseball, who is a reigning champion. He's the Union Pacific diesel train. That's right. That's from 2010 in the German company. And he's a reigning champion. There's Electra. There is Papa, who is, the older steam train. You have, Nintendo, or Hashimoto, as we call him, the bullet train from Japan. You have the TGV from France. Espresso Germany is the Italian train. The German train, Rugold. as well, which used to be Weltschaft in the early days. And they're all vying for this international race that happens every year. And Greaseball's a reigning champion. And, there's also the ladies who, there's Pearl, and there's Dinah and Buffy and Ashley. They've changed the characters a little bit now. So I'm not even real sure what the character names are, but I think one of them is called Carrie, and she's kind of like has Louis Vuitton bags all over the place. But anyway, the girls are the carriages, and, we take them around the tracks, and the stage is absolutely amazing. And the show is just really, Rusty wants to be involved. He wants to get in there and win the race, and everyone's cheating, and they're breaking him down, and they're in the races, and they're making him crash and everything. And he actually prays to the Starlight Express at the end of the first act. Now, Starlight Express is an actual character in the show. You never see Starlight Express. He's kind of like the God figure, and he prays to the Starlight Express to give him a little tap power, a little bit of strength, so that maybe one day he can win the international race and get his girl Pearl and everything. And there's 35 cast members on the stage. It's extremely fast. The energy is off the charts. And just really the technical aspect of the show is unbelievable. In fact, in Bochum, they've just done some new stuff with the sound. They have some projections now. They have drones that fly. It is absolutely, it's unbelievable. And that show's been running since 1988, I believe. I think 88 was the first year that they opened, and it is still running. It's a Guinness Book of World Record, longest running musical in one theater. So it is a sit down show there. It's actually not a tour in Bochum. And then they had the West End production that was the Paula Victoria, I believe. Yeah. And that ran from 84 to 2002, I believe. Vegas ran from, I think, 93 to 97. And then they've had tours that have gone around the Japan, Australia tour. They have the New Zealand tour. They've had a couple of U.S. tours as well. So it's just it's an extremely hard show to put up, as you can imagine, because of the training for it. Most shows, let's say you're doing Phantom or you're doing Joseph the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, you can rehearse for 3 weeks and then be ready to put the show up. With Starlight, it takes a couple of months to do.
Plus you can rehearse those other shows with a couple of people in one room and a couple of people in another room during their bits. But you guys, I saw you there, by the way, twice in 97. Yeah, I was. We were in the group that were thrown out for videotaping, by the way. You may remember. But
that happened a lot, actually.
I'm sure it did, but I tried to get a hold of Henry.
I'd love to have it if you got into that video, because we weren't even allowed to videotape.
We have footage. It's in Berlin, and he couldn't find it this quick. But we may track down some video back then. Henry had a super expensive thing that he was holding between his knees, and then they'd come and say, "You can't do that. You can't do that." And he'd go, "Oh, okay." And they weren't 5 feet away, and he was back recording. So. We'll try and see if we can find some of that for you. So.
They're really big on that.
Out.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, Ernest. With Starlight Express, a few questions. You have to sing, you have to dance, you have to skate, and you have to sing in German as well. Yeah. Incredible. Now, I've got to ask, first of all, could you skate before you done Starlight Express?
Well, I grew up in Southern California in Pasadena. And, when we were kids, going to junior high school, every Friday night we go to the Fiesta roller rink. And that was kind of like the thing to do in the 80s. So actually, I skated a bit before actually being cast in 1994 in the German company. So I had a little bit, head start on some people, but I really, really worked hard to be as good as I could be and really, take that training, because there were some people, my God, that never skated before. And to see them go from barely being able to stand on skates, day one, and then 3 months later, they're opening the show and actually skating in the show was an absolutely amazing thing to see. And I have to really give a huge, props, as you will, to Michael Fraley and the team there. That really get everybody ready to do the show, because it is an extremely hard show to do. And like you say, we're skating, we're singing, we're dancing, we're acting, and trying to make it look like it's natural. So it's really a tough show. Like I said, the toughest show, but the most rewarding show I think that you'll ever do, for sure.
Wow, chilly.
Could you do it today? You're a little older. Unfortunately, that clock keeps ticking. Could you do it again?
You know what? In my mind, I could do it right now. I could just go on stage. But I think it would take a little bit of time to get, your muscle memory back. Skating is really like riding a bike. I mean, once you've gone through that training, that's why, the cast members, they bring back time and time again. Once you've done the show, you are a valuable commodity to Starlight Express. I did over 10 years worth. I did 4 different contracts in the German company. So when I left in 96 to go to do the Vegas company, they called me back in 1999. Then they called, and then I did 2 years till 2001. They called me back in 2003 and I did a year. And then I had 3 years off, and then I came back in 1997, and 2007, sorry, 2007 to 2011. So I did 4 years my last time there. So all told,
can you give us any advice, Ernest? Because next year, fingers crossed, here we've got a Cruise Amigos European tour going, yeah. And one of the things I want to do, to be able to, we only have days in ports, so to get around the ports quicker, I think that myself, John, and Chili, we're going to be on roller skates, yeah? We're going to be roller skating around the different ports. And I don't think any of us have ever done it before, so can you give us any advice on that?
You've never done it before. I'd say you want to wear your knee pads, you want to wear elbow pads, you want to wear wrist guards. You guys definitely want to wear helmets because I'll tell you, you're on wheels. And sometimes that lends to falling on either your rear end, your head, your knees. So I would say safety is the number one thing. If you want to do that, go out and get some rollerblades. You'll find those a lot easier than skates. Skates, the quads. So cobblestones.
I have one word for you: cobblestones.
Right.
I'm a big fat guy. I can see me on roller skates or rollerblades. I mean, I'd smash the wheels.
I would say first do it at home. Take it to your home first, skate around a little bit before you go out in public and have people laugh at you.
We would do
because that could happen. I mean, I'm just saying, go down to the park. They have these skate parks now. But definitely you want to wear, your protective equipment. You don't want to go out there not wearing knee pads and elbow pads because, you can break things. And we've had a lot of injuries, even seriously. We've had a lot of injuries, broken legs, broken. We had somebody broken arms, of course, wrists, fingers. People have hurt their necks, people have hurt their backs. Luckily, touch wood, we've had no fatalities, but injuries are a part of the show.
I think that we're going to be fine. And I promise you, Ernest, that we will post videos live of the Cruise Amigos skating around Rome. How about that?
Yeah? Please do. Please do.
Look forward to now, Ernest,
I'm going to skate up to see the Pope. That's when I'm going to skate.
I don't know if the Vatican allows skates, but you know what? Just try it. The worst they can do is throw you out.
Yeah, we're going to give it a go. Like John, getting thrown out, watching your show,
Sure.
Now, how did it all start, Ernest, before we get onto the cruise side of things, obviously before you start playing what you did in Starlight Express, which are the lead roles with Rusty and Greaseball, how did you start in the entertainment industry?
Wow. I think pretty much, when I was in elementary school and junior high school, I was in choir and I sang, and my father is a musician. Was a fantastic singer. Really amazing voice. And, I guess the genes were there. I studied, went to high school and then did the musicals in high school, went to college and I studied performing arts there. And I sang, anything from, the classics from Haydn and Mozart and Bach. We toured throughout Great Britain in 1997. With my college, and every other year we would go to Europe, and then we go to Hawaii, and we go to Europe and Hawaii. So I did 2 Hawaiian years where we sang pop music, and then I sang classic works, on the other years. So I'm really classically trained, and then I had to really learn how to sing pop music because really, as a classically trained singer, pop music doesn't come easy to you. It's a lot different than it is today. Today, they have America's Got Talent and Superstar and all of these, The Voice. And all of these naturally talented people that go out there. But for those of us who studied, it's a little hard to go from one genre to the other. So you really have to kind of learning how to sing rock, learning how to sing country, because it's all a little different. But having classical training, that's kind of like the ballet is to dance. It's the base that you need. And then I've been very, very fortunate to have been able to perform for over 30 years now. And that's how really I got started. And then I started working out of college and been very, very fortunate to have worked, all the way up until today. Well, the pandemic's going on, so I'm not doing a lot of work now. But professionally, I still do, my own solo show with Azamara as well. So I'm very, very fortunate to have been able to do that for so long.
And in Germany, in Bochum, Starlight Express was in German, you were saying, yeah?
Mm.
Now, could you speak German?
No, I had just a few phrases that some friends taught me, which were terribly wrong when I got there. It's like getting thrown into the fire. I mean, you get there, you don't speak a word of English except for Dankeschön, bitte, little things, and you learn as you go. It helps to have friends, that speak German as well. But, my first experience, and I always tell the story when I went to the grocery market, of course, everything's in German. So I'm trying to find things that look familiar to me, like potato chips and those kind of things is fine. But, other things, I went to get a box of Kleenex. So I chose a box that was the size of our, tissue box. And I got home and it was maxi pads.
Close enough. Close enough. I mean.
Yeah, so I just used them and I blew my nose in.
Yeah.
Honest mistake.
And you always have to know how to say, "Where's the bathroom?"
Yeah, was it Toiletten bitte?
Toiletten bitte.
Pass the butter, please. That's the one I always struggle with. I don't care what language it is. I need some butter for my bread.
So butter
the
is
first thing us Brits learn is how to order a beer. Yeah, that's the first thing we learn. I'm going to go through a few photographs you sent me from your Starlight Express days. This is in Germany, Griesbach.
That's in Germany. Yep. That's during the taunting scene with Rusty. You can't see him, but he's on the floor. You can see the guys have their fists up. They're getting ready to pound the guy. And I'm looking up at Control. Now, there's a voice of Control, which is a little boy. Actually, I should have told you. The story starts, a little boy, he goes to sleep and he dreams. And this is what he dreams up. In his dream, it's the international race. So all throughout the musical, Control comes on. He says, "This is Control. This is Control." And he's kind of making things go along in the races and everything. So I'm looking up at him because he said pretty much, "Hey, leave Rusty alone." So that's that picture. This is Pumping Iron. That's from Bell's Domain. That's one of our fans that has a lot of pictures there. You can find that on the internet. And this is, I believe, right around 2000. And that's at the end of Pumping Iron. He finishes and says, "Man, I'm so beautiful." And all the girls
I remember the line. I do. Yeah.
They love him.
Little sha-na-na kind of a look there. A little sha-na-na.
A little bit, yeah. A little Bowser. This is coming in, for Pumping Iron entrance. You can see down on my skate. There's they put pyro in the show a few years ago, and which is pretty cool. So I come down what's called the profile, and then they light the pyro by radio, and then that thing is going the whole time until I start the number.
And 30 years.
Yeah, this is the 30th anniversary, which just happened in 2018. And this was a great event. They have every year, of course, there's more and more, Starlight cast members that come back. So it gets to be almost kind of crazy because you see people you haven't seen for years. And it's a little bit hard because you start talking to one person, then somebody else comes up, you go, "Oh my God, I haven't seen him so many years." So it's really hard to have a conversation with somebody for more than a minute before, another cast member comes up that you want to have a chat with as well.
I mean, do you stay in contact with all the cast members, Ernest?
All the cast members?
Well,
absolutely not. No.
As many cast members as you can, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, there's a group of us we call the lads. That's Adam Floyd. He did Starlight for many years. Great guy. He was our skate coach as well. That I keep in touch with. Chris Southgate, Daniel Terrian, who's a buddy of mine. We did a show here in Vegas. We did 2 shows here in Vegas together, and Andy Bark, and let's see, Andreas Wolfram, who's was doing the show up to a couple of years ago. David Moore, I talked to him quite a bit. David Michael Johnson. I mean, God, there's several people. Maria Jane Hyde, I talk to from time to time. So there are some people, that you keep in touch with, some people you kind of lose touch with, but, all in all, we're friends on Facebook, and I'm off Facebook right now. I don't know if you noticed that, but, I decided with today's climate and all the, the bull that's going on, I think I'm going to take a break until after the elections here in November. But, we're all friends on Facebook. We, say hello to each other from time to time, and, yeah, we do keep in touch. There are some people that you're a little closer to, you're able to talk to a little bit more than others. But Aaron
says
Piper,
hello.
I forgot to say Aaron as well.
Adam,
what's that?
Adam says hello to you, Ernest. Yeah,
is that Adam? Oh, my boy, I love this guy.
Yeah,
Adam Floyd.
Adam says hello, and
he is an amazing skater.
One last question on the Starlight before we talk about the cruise directing days is what was your favorite character to play? Was it Rusty? Was it Greaseball? And why as well?
I get asked that a lot of times.
I bet you do.
And it's funny. Playing Rusty it's an amazing role. Having that time alone on stage with 1,500 people watching just you at the end of the first act when you're singing Starlight Express is so amazing. And then, of course, he, not to ruin it, but everybody knows he wins at the end and he gets the girl. And being able to sing that role is fantastic. You got to really be careful because it's very high. I used to have to really, watch myself back in the day. But then when I took over as Greaseball in '99, I got to tell you, it's really fun to play the bad boy. It is so fun. People booing you and it's just that was a painting up that's still in Bochum actually, but it's so fun to play the bad boy, and I got to do a lot of tricks and you just, I don't know, I think there's pluses with both of them. I love both roles kind of equally, but as far as like being fun, I think I was a little more careful when I was playing Rusty because I had to be careful of my voice. I had to, you always watch that with Greaseball. It's just kind of rock and roll and out there, and I love the skate for Greaseball as well. I mean,
so
that was
the fact that you were booed as Greaseball. Did that help you when you become a cruise director? And were you ever booed as a cruise director?
Oh, I've been booed as a cruise director. Trust me. Usually on my own accord. It's something that I've said, usually on purpose to get a boo out of that. But no, typically I don't get booed as a cruise director. But when you're playing a bad boy, I also did the Broadway National Tour of Beauty and the Beast, and I played the Beast and Gaston. And with those roles, it's kind of like Rusty and Greaseball if you think about it. At the beginning of that show, everybody loves Gaston, and he's just like so full of himself. He's this megalomaniac. He's Greaseball for the most part, and everybody loves him, and everybody hates the Beast because he's so mean to Belle and everything. But by the time you get to the second act, they switch, and then the crowd is booing Gaston at the end of the show, and they are just completely in love with the Beast. So that's kind of I really love shows like that where you can actually transform from one act to the other.
Fantastic. Now we'll talk about, I love Starlight Express. I've seen the show so many times. Beverly knows that. I used to go and watch her all the time when she's at the Apollo Theatre.
Oh, she's lovely.
You could actually stand, and I prefer to stand because you were kind of involved, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to know, how did you move? How did you go from starring in Starlight Express, Beauty and the Beast and everything else to becoming a cruise director with Azamara?
That's another great question. So I was working, when I finished Starlight Express in 2011, I went to Royal Caribbean to do a contract for them. I was on the Freedom of the Seas. And to be honest with you, Starlight is such a hard show. And with cruise shows, they're a lot easier in comparison. You work maybe 12 hours a week. You do 2 production shows, and the rest of the time you're free. There's no skating. Your body is not hurting you, especially being a lead singer in those production shows. It's a piece of cake. So I called Royal Caribbean, and I did that a couple of times after I finished a contract at Starlight. And then they were doing Chicago the Musical that was being produced by the Broadway producers on the Allure of the Seas. And they asked me if I was interested in playing Billy Flynn. So that was in 2012. I went and went over to Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas, and I played Billy Flynn in Chicago the Musical for 3 contracts. And I finished in 2015, and a very good friend of mine, Amanda Polson, had worked for Azamara for several contracts, and she was the queen of the quest, this girl, and a very, very clever girl too. That's our quest, a little small ship. And she pretty much put together the cast that she wanted and presented it to the team there and said, "Oh, I heard that Ernest is interested, and I heard that Matsu is interested, and we have our ballroom couples as well." So she really was pushing for the people she wanted. So I actually came into the cast, and the great thing, and the reason why I went over to Azamara is because in the production cast at that time, the principal male singer had to have their own self-contained headliner show as well. Now, I've been thinking about doing this for many, many years, and this was going to force me to actually have to put together a show. So when I went over to Azamara, I was doing the production shows as well as creating my own headliner show. And once I did that, the cruise directors there, Russ Grieb, who was a fantastically talented, fantastic man who is with another line now, and also Tony Markey, another amazingly talented cruise director. They liked my show so much that they would put it on as regular show time. So I was actually doing my show once a cruise. Once I did that for 2 contracts, they asked me, hey, you know what? We have this guy who is right around the right age and would probably be good for a cruise director if we're ever looking for one at some time. We had 2 ships at the time, the Azamara Journey and the Azamara Quest, and we had 3 cruise directors. So Eric was over, would go from ship to vacation relief for Russ and for Tony. So you see, we had 2 permanent cruise directors, and then Eric would go, Tony would go ship to ship. Eric was a permanent cruise director on the Journey. So with Tony going back and forth, they didn't need any more cruise directors. So I talked to Scott Daniels, our director of hotel operations at the time, and had interviewed with him. And he said, hey, you know, you're right for it. You know, we just don't have any room for you. But if something happens, you know, keep in touch with me from time to time. Let me know what you're doing. And about a few months after that last contract, when I was in the production cast, Azamara bought a new ship. So the Azamara Pursuit was coming out. So now we have 3 ships. So what they did was they got a hold of me. They asked me if I was interested. And my Tony became the permanent cruise director on the Pursuit. Eric stayed on Journey, and Russ stayed on the Quest. So basically what they were doing is they were having those of us 3 assistant cruise directors that were going to be like a swing role. So we would do assistant cruise director for 6 months, and then assistant cruise director for 2 months, cruise director for 2 months, and then 2 months vacation. So there was a rotation, you see. So I did that. I started out doing that on the Quest. And then Russ resigned and went to another company, and that's when they asked me to step up to be the permanent cruise director on the Quest. And there you go. That's on the ship right there.
There we go. We now have
but you look younger. You look younger now.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. Now I've got some photographs you sent me of the shows that you guys do. But they look absolutely incredible. And I've also got some video, which will be a treat. We're actually going to be playing video this time.
Sure.
Now, this is your performance, Ernest.
Yeah, that's my headliner show. We have the band back there. We have 5 pieces. We used to have 7 pieces, but they kind of whittled down. And we got some amazing musicians that play for us. They come back time and time again. We got Ben there. It looks like I can't see who's back there. It's a little blurry, but yeah. So I do my show every cruise. The assistant cruise director does. This is part of our production team, our production cast, signature singers and dancers, and this is one of the shows that they do there. And they have 3 shows that they do. So I schedule those, you know, throughout as well, throughout the cruise.
Well, I've got a bit of video, chaps. So I'm going to play this video, and here we go.
Well, please welcome Ernest Marchain.
Let the good times roll. Sing once again with me our strange duet. My power over you grows stronger yet. The phantom of the opera is there.
Wow.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
That's part 1. We've got part 2 coming up later on, so don't go anywhere, yeah? What do you think, guys? Do you think we could do that?
Absolutely.
What kind of itineraries do you sail?
Oh, my gosh. Listen, Chili, we go all around the world. There isn't anywhere that we don't go. We go to, as far north as, the northern part of Norway, and as far south as Antarctic. So we are worldwide. I know there's a lot of ships, especially the Caribbean ships that kind of sail out of Port Everglades or Miami, and they do, the Caribbean. They do St. Martin, St. Thomas, San Juan, Puerto Rico. They do Cozumel. And those are a lot of week-long cruises. And basically what those cruises are about is the destination is really the ships. So you get a couple of ports in, but the ships, especially like the Allure of the Seas, it is massive. There's 6,000 guests, 2,200 crew. They've got water slides. They've got all kinds of entertainment all over the place. So that's really your destination. Now with our cruise line, Azamara, we are port intensive. So it's all about the experience that you get when you're in port. We have more overnights and longer stays in any port of any cruise line in the industry. We'll sail up the river to Bordeaux. We'll have 3 nights in St. Petersburg, down in Rio. They're there for Carnival. And they'll stay there for a few days at a time. So we're really about destination immersion. So we're all about taking you to the places that you want to go and having you spend time there. So really, that's really our main focus, is making sure that you are experiencing these places. Because you go to the Caribbean, it's pretty much party time. You come in at 8, 9 in the morning. Your ship leaves at 4. You got a couple hours to go to the beach and all that. But let's say you're going to St. Petersburg. You don't want to get off the ship, have a couple hours, and come back. So you'll go there. Be able to enjoy the evening. We have excursions that you'll get off the ship, fly to Moscow for a couple of days, fly back, and then get back on the ship. So that's really what our main focus is for our guests, is to really present those places and to have them experience these places and have a lot more time to do it.
Emily from New York. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Emily
Hi,
says
Emily.
You have a great voice, Ernest. That was great.
Oh,
We've got
that's
more
very
coming up,
nice.
Emily.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Now, some of the shows that you were doing, this is your White Night show.
Yes. So our White Night party, this is us singing there on the stage. We got Shannon, the beautiful Shannon there, and then Igor, who was Sidash back there on the piano. He is an unbelievable musician, and I'm so thankful to have him there. He is from Ukraine and an amazing talent. So I really am lucky with the talent that I have. So our White Night party is we do this once a cruise. It's a big deck party up on the pool deck. We take all the lounge chairs out and we set it up like a gigantic restaurant. If you show that picture again, Pete, then you can see you see all the tables there right around the pool. And this is actually looking forward to the ship from kind of where the stage is set up here, where we're looking. And we sing for about an hour and a half. A lot of times we'll have local shows. That's one of my responsibilities, to book local talent. So they'll come on, when they're just start the dinner. And that's actually down in the Cabaret Lounge. So sometimes we'll have them down there if it's not a white night. But let's say this is a white night, I actually have that group and we would have them up on the pool deck. And then that's before the big party kicks off. And then all of the signature singers and dancers, they will go and perform. There's our hotel director, Philip, right there on the left, who is probably the best boss I've ever had in my life. He is absolutely amazing. Always a pleasure to work with him. There's Stephen Millett, my assistant cruise director, who also pops up to cruise director when I go on vacation. And then this is a group when we were in Africa. So it doesn't look like we're having any fun at all. This is the Kangaroo Zulu dancers. These guys are unbelievable. If you go and go ahead and go on YouTube and Kangaroo Zulu dancers, put that in the search and watch these guys. You've never seen anything like it. They are performing, flipping around, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We had them. They were so successful. We were in Africa. We had them on probably about 7 or 8 times on the ship. The guests absolutely loved it. This is with our Captain Philip. He's our Greek captain, one of the newest to Azamara, a very, very fine captain and nice guy. And this is when we're in Oman. So this is our Azamazing evening event. And that is something that we do every cruise. Most of our cruises are 12 to 16 days. That's our normal. So anything over 7 days, we'll have an event like this, and we'll actually take everyone off the ship. We'll get in coaches, and we'll go. This is, I believe, in Thailand. We'll take all the guests, and then they'll go and see a big performance, and then we'll bring them back to the ship. Usually we do that on an overnight when we're there as well. So that's, like I said, Thailand there. And this is Dubrovnik. This is right in the city center. You can see that big screen down there.
Yeah.
And we have a lady named Anna Rutschner that plays cello. She's a performance cellist who also sings, huge energy. And this is, how we actually block off part of the city. Those are all of our guests there. You see the chairs. And we actually rent out this part of the city so that we can have the performance. So that's right there in Dubrovnik. I was just there recently. My girlfriend, Lena, I know she's watching right now. So hi, honey, I love you. She is in Germany. In fact, I met her when I was doing Starlight Express. And I had not seen her for 4 months. And we were trying to look for a place to actually go where, she could go and I could go. There weren't a lot of places in the world, but Croatia had opened up for us. I had to get a COVID test to make sure that I was COVID negative. We wore masks. We're very, very safe. I want to make sure everybody knows. But this is one place that we're able to go in the world to spend a little time together. Because a lot of people, if you're not married, you're in a bad place. You can't travel to see your loved one. Germany has also come up with a law, thankfully, that if you're in a long-term relationship, you can file paperwork and get COVID tested and everything, and have people actually come and be able to visit there. So we're actually in the process of doing that. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Her birthday's coming up, so I'm hoping to make it there before September 22nd. But this was in Germany. So this was actually there was a lawmaker, of course, that had a significant other that was from a different country. And a lot of people were bringing this up. Hey, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, they're from Mexico, they're from Colombia, they're from the United States. And with the travel ban, you couldn't go. So they actually passed legislation that allows long-term relationships as long as they are COVID negative and make sure they have all the right paperwork that they're able to go and visit. So that's something that I'm very happy that the German government has put forth. So we're hoping to be able to do that. But yeah, Croatia was absolutely beautiful. Amazing place.
We are going to be there next year, Ernest. The Cruise Amigos on the cruise on our European tour. We are going to Croatia, and we're going to be skating around Croatia as well, aren't we, guys?
Well, listen, I don't know if you want to skate around Dubrovnik because the ground there, cobblestones all over the place, very slick. I'm just saying, be very, very careful if you do that.
Emily has asked, when do you rehearse your acts? When do you get a chance to rehearse them?
Well, so for like my show, I will do, now that I've done the show, hundreds of times. So actually I just have a sound check the night of the show. So I'll have my sound check maybe at 6 o'clock where we go through a couple of numbers, make sure the click track, make sure everything is, that, our sound is right. And then I have my 2 shows that night. The production team, when they first come onto the ship, we have what's called an install period. So that's about 2 weeks worth of time to put their 3 shows up. So they'll rehearse during the days. Hopefully we have a lot of port days because the guests are off the ship. Then we have the cabaret lounges is actually free for them to rehearse there. So they'll rehearse about 4 days while they're there on the ship. Now they have had probably about a month in New York City. RWS is our production company that puts up our shows. So they cast the shows, they rehearse the shows in New York, and then the cast flies to the ship with all of the the costumes and all that, and then we will actually go ahead and install the shows and put them up ready for the guests. And then they usually stay on for about 6 months, and then a new group of performers comes on. So a lot of the shows are rehearsed off the ship already before they bring them. But something like for my show, I just have a sound check when we have our guest entertainers. They will come on. We have a lot of repeat guest entertainers as well, so they know how it is. If it's somebody new, I will meet with them, get them in touch with the musical director, Igor, and then they will have their charts. They will go and rehearse for an hour or 2 with the band, and then they're on that night. So it is something that's kind of daunting at times, to make sure that you're ready to do the show when you get on the ship.
Chile.
Do you have any guess when you guys may start cruising again?
Any guess? I am guessing sometime in 2021. That's my guess. Now, I would love to be wrong, and as far as I know, up to mid-November is when our cruises are canceled up until. It's going to depend on a lot of things. I know MSC and TUI. TUI is part of our brand. Royal Caribbean actually owns our brand. So Royal Caribbean is a parent company for Celebrity Cruises, Azamara, and TUI, and I think a couple other smaller ships as well. smaller brands. But TUI is out doing some cruising. MSC is. We're really watching that very closely. I know the home office in Miami is watching very closely on how they are doing, the procedures they're doing to make sure people are safe. First of all, our number one priority always is the safety and the health of our crew and our guests, of course. So as long as they're doing well, as long as they are, keeping cases, not coming on the ship, the testing is happening. This is just something obviously we've never run into. Of course, you've heard about, they always call it coronavirus. They always call it the norovirus. But a lot of things that happen are gastrointestinal illness, we call GI. These are things actually that a lot of people don't know. These are brought onto the ship. I think that the cruise line industry as a whole gets a black eye. You'll see on CNN and they'll say, oh, Norwegian Cruises has norovirus and so many people sick. Well, this is not because Norwegian Cruise Lines or any other cruise line is a disgusting cruise line, or they are not concentrating on the health and the safety of the guests. But typically what happens is, say someone maybe is not feeling well, even though there's paperwork they have to fill out, whether they've had vomiting or they have a fever or whatever. This is back before coronavirus, of course. If they just happen to go into port, when we're in India, South America, when we're in Myanmar, a lot of times the foods are not what people are used to, and their digestive system is not ready to cope with it. So they'll come on, they'll be ill, and I'll tell you, GI, it spreads like wildfire. Now, having said that, we are always, and if you go on any cruise line, and I'll say especially for Azamara and our Royal brands, and I'm sure the others, they're always cleaning things. They're always wiping down. We use special chemicals to kill that virus, and we do our best to make sure that everybody is healthy. But those things happen from time to time, and it's not always norovirus. Sometimes it is just gastrointestinal. But this is going to be one of the challenges that we face when we have guests coming back to the ships. We're going to have to be, especially careful, obviously, due to how this coronavirus does spread. It's highly contagious. So I know that we're going through all of the steps and all the procedures right now, and we have think groups and that are getting together that are going cross brands and cross cruise lines as well. We're working with other cruise lines as well, because we all want to get back into service. But these are all things that we're all concentrating on, and we're watching MSC and TUI very, very closely so that we will be able to get back into service and be entertaining our guests in the healthiest and the best way that we can to make sure that they're safe and they're healthy. Yeah.
I'm actually worried, Ernest, that you may not get your ships back here, to be honest with you, because our Scottish ladies, Margaret, Alison, Rona, yes, they are in Glasgow. And
where
they
all
live
three
in
ships
Glasgow,
are.
and the Azamara ships are currently berthed in Glasgow.
They
now,
are
knowing
indeed,
what our
yes.
ladies are like, they're most likely to swim out and take the ship and grab the ship and cruise off on their own. Won't you,
Well,
ladies?
I think our security might have a little something to say about that. But
you don't know these three girls. They can they are the
I'm sure they're very resourceful.
They are the Jane Bonds of the world. I mean, I'm telling you.
Well, I'll make sure
we could volunteer to go and check them out and make sure they're okay. See what I mean? Our Scottish ladies, they're going to be there. Now, are you actually? Let me take that one off first of all. Sorry about that. Are you actually crew? Do you count as crew? Because I see this.
Right. So that is our staff captain, Kresimir Corona from Croatia. Fantastic staff captain, great guy. And that is me. This is for one of our events when we have our officer hosting. So we'll have our grand officer hosting, and we will actually sit at tables with our guests. And it's kind of a fun time for them and a fun time for us. There's Captain Magnus right there. He is Scottish as well. So he's up there in Edinburgh, I believe he lives. And this is our lineup for our introductions. We have our chef right there, Colin on the right. We have we just basically what they do is they introduce there's Edwin, our chief housekeeper, and Vanessa, our guest relations manager, and then there's me and Fabio, our food and beverage manager, Tomasz, who is our hotel director. There's Kresimir again, and all down the line we have our introduction so that everybody gets to know us on the first night. Captain makes a speech, we do a toast. And with our line, it is we only have 700 guests maximum, and that's at 450 crew. So we are crew. All of us have safety duties as well. Every single crew member that is on that ship, like I said, our first and foremost is to make sure of the health and safety of our guests. So we all have certifications for life-saving, whether it's boat commanders or if it's crowd control. Everybody on that ship, everybody who is a crew member has a specific duty. I am in charge of communications, so if there's any event that happens, I have to go directly to the bridge, and I am in contact through the PA system with the guests from our upper command, from the captain, staff captain, and letting the guests know what is happening, keeping them apprised of what's going on, and making sure that everybody is safe. But all of our crew, whether you work in the shops, if you're deck, if you are in the production cast, even they're involved. Our photographers, our tech crew, our musicians, they all have an emergency duty, and they are all trained very, very well. They all know what they're supposed to do and how to do it.
And for me, it's lovely to see the officers behaving themselves, being extremely official.
There we go. This is one of my favorite pictures. So this was for a little ad campaign for Azamara, and here we have Givo, our staff captain, right next to Captain Magnus on the right, and then there's Givo, Fabio, Philip, and then myself. Of course, as you can tell, my Starlight Express and gymnastics training has come into play here. I always like to brag and say, come on, guys, get up there. So we did have a great time. There's a little photo shoot that we did, but you can tell we all have a great time together. It is like a family on Azamara. And yeah.
And Charles has asked, are you considered a merchant marine officer?
What's that?
Charles has asked, are you considered a merchant marine officer?
No, I am not. So we have our marine division, and I am part of the hotel division. So we have different departments on the ship. Our marine division is staff captain, captain, first officers, navigation. We have our first, second, third officer. So we have everybody that's up there on the bridge. They're the marine officers, and then we have of course our chief engineer, our staff chief engineer, and then we have our deck officer. So they're all spread out in different departments on the ship. So me personally, I am part of the hotel department.
Ernest, I know our chaps, I know the Amigos, we're going to ask a few questions. I'm going to fly through a few of these photographs, guys, and then we're going to move on to Las Vegas, which Chili and John know very, very well, yeah? So very, very quickly, the three Amigos. It's the Quiz Amigos.
Now, this is something that I actually created myself. With Philip, Fabio, and myself, we like to call each other the three Amigos. We work very closely together. Of course, we're all part of the hotel department. Hotel director is Philip, and as food and beverage manager and hotel director, cruise director, we work right under his supervision. And it's just something. As soon as I saw that, I thought, oh, I gotta make something for the boys. So I actually did this, printed it out, and put them in frames so they could put them in their office. So
you've got to make something for us, and then we need something as well. The Cruise Amigos need something. They really do.
Yeah, you got it. It's very easy. All you have to do is go onto your Photoshop and you can do it. This is Ingrid Kapelstes. She is responsible for me being able to do the show for so many years in Bochum. She is a personal trainer, a physio trainer. Amazingly, I call her the Queen of Pain because whenever anything would happen, if I pulled something or whatever, I'll tell you what, she would get right in there with her elbow. And let me tell you, if you let's say you pulled your hamstring a little bit and it's up there pretty high, she would lean on the table with her elbow, the bone, and all her weight and put it on there. And I would be just close to tears. In fact, I might have shed a tear here and there. But that lady was in charge of getting me back in the show and being able to do it for so many years. So I went back, I gave her that poster from the show and signed it. And that's in her physio office. And anytime I get a chance, I try to go back and visit with her. And she is absolutely a lovely lady.
Now, this is Quest Expo.
This is the Quest Expo. So this is something that we do when we have longer cruises and more sea days. This is the security department right here. And as you can see on the table, they have all of the things that involved what they do on the ship. We have the engine department that's there. We have we have fire gear. We have safety. We have food and beverage. The shops are there. The guy right back there, if you can see in the back toward the right, he is our tailor. So they're in charge of doing uniforms for the crew and that kind of thing. So everybody that has any job on the ship, we have this huge expo. It's highly, highly entertaining, very popular. all of this guests get involved because they get to see what every department does and what it takes to actually keep our crews and our line in operation.
I started cruising in 1978. I've never been on a ship that did that. That's fabulous.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of ships that do that or that can do that. We started this a couple of years ago. I believe it was the brainchild of a captain we had, Captain Jose. And I think that, and probably Philip as well, Hotel Director Philip, they got together and said, hey, this might be a great idea to show the guests exactly what goes into, sailing with Azamara.
Wow. And this is Alaska.
That is Glacier Bay. So this is in Alaska. This is a couple of years ago. You can see we get right in there. A lot of the bigger ships don't get this close. In fact, we even got closer than that. We're always very aware of our environment. One of the biggest things with Azamara and with the Royal brand in general is we are above and beyond compliance. So whenever we go out and have any of our things that we have to do environmentally, we make sure that we're not only going by the standard of international law, but we also go above and beyond compliance. So let's say we have gray water, that's water from your sinks and from your showers that can be legally discharged at 10 miles. We won't do it until we're 20 miles out. Now that's all been treated water, and it's almost drinkable by the time we actually do discharge it. But that's something industry-wide. This is Milford Sound. And that is in New Zealand, one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. And again, the bigger ships, there is absolutely no way they can get in there. So that's one of the great things on being with the smaller ships. We actually take you right into the places you want to see.
And the last photo.
And of course, this is, in Sydney, Australia. This is a couple years ago as well. That's when we were sailing out. You have the Opera House there. We spent New Year's, and we were, if you see just to the right of the Opera House, there's a dock over there, and that is a Circular Quay. This is where the big ships usually are, but during New Year's, nobody is allowed to be there. So we're at a place called White Bay, and you can actually see all of the fireworks. It's the most amazing position to be in. Whenever Azamara is there for New Year's, they have about, I think, 15 barges of fireworks. And from that vantage point over in White Bay, you see every single one of them. You can't see the Opera House, but then again, there's not a lot happening at the Opera House. You will see the bridge as well and be able to see the fireworks from there. So that's one of the fantastic things, whenever we go to Sydney. And for the most part, when we go to Sydney, we do have overnights there.
Wow. Now, Chile, John, Ernest lives in Las Vegas. You both know Las Vegas very well, yeah?
Well,
I never played golf in 110-degree weather, I'll tell you that.
I try not to do that either. I used to do that back in the day. What an idiot.
Last time I was on a golf course, it was the Trop golf course with Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. and Billy Rogers.
Yeah. That was a while ago.
That was a while ago, yeah. So that shows you how long it's been since I've been on a course. But
oh, yeah.
That was while I worked at KDON Radio. You must know KDON Radio.
KDON heard it, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I took it over when they went to 50,000 watts at night. And so that was the first I happened to do that. And then Art Bell took over after me. Well, it is. That's the most powerful AM station power you can have. They were 10,000, right? And when they stepped it up to 50,000, they brought me in, and we covered the 14 Western states and all the Pacific Rim.
Wow.
And I keep asking myself, really why did I leave? Tell me again, why did I leave? So
maybe the summer heat? I don't know.
Heat doesn't bother me. I stay in this room thing, They have these room things.
The air conditioning here is unbelievable. So
unbelievable.
You're fine. Yeah.
Unbelievable. You bet. But those, as you know, there was some better years in Vegas. It's different now. Not that this isn't good. It's a new spectacular. But there was some fun years in Vegas 25 years ago when it was different. You could kind of bounce around, and Caesar's Palace had just opened the new extravaganza, and the Mirage had just put in the fountain and the fireworks and all of these things. Yeah,
Right.
And,
and of course the Bellagio, the fountains of Bellagio. A lot of those things are still around. Cirque du Soleil came in the mid '90s and really saturated Vegas with a lot of shows. And unfortunately, that took a lot of shows away from some of the showgirls and the dancers and the principal singers.
Yeah.
I know that Le Rêve has closed permanently. That was at the Wynn Hotel due to the pandemic. I don't know how many of the other shows are going to survive this. We're going to have to see what happens. But I do miss those singer-dancer shows. They have a show called Vegas the Show and that's over at Planet Hollywood. That's one of the best shows actually for me in Vegas. Anyway, the Cirque shows are great. I mean, they're very entertaining.
Phenomenal,
but once you've seen one or two of them, it's kind of the same thing. Let's be honest. I mean, the wow factor's there for the first 10 minutes, and then you're like, oh wow. I mean,
Well, a guy on silks, there's only so many things you can do. Even when they take it to the Epic, they have a miniature little Cirque on the Epic ship, and
sure,
there's just so much
talented.
They're amazingly talented, but there's only so much you can do. And like, I've seen 4 Cirque shows now, I think, and I loved every one of them. But it's
great.
not. I just miss the midnight lounges where I missed the Rat Pack. That was before me. But but there were identifiable entertainers that you would say, "Hey, it's too early to go to bed. Let's go catch."
John, I've got to interrupt you. John, I have to interrupt you. We are the new Rat Pack.
Oh, we're the new Rat Pack.
Amigos.
Oh, okay.
We're
Put it together,
the new
boys.
Rat Pack, aren't we? Yeah.
Oh, we're the new. Okay.
Yeah, we're the oldest new kids on the block. The new Rat Pack.
I miss steak and eggs for 99 cents at the plaza.
There you go. There you go. Yeah,
I don't know if it's 99 cents anymore, but I'm sure there's some places you can find some deals. And now, of course, buffets, that's a thing of the past. I don't know when buffets are going to come back, if ever. Anyway.
Well, chaps, I mean, this is, wonderful talk. Yeah. I mean, finding out so much about Starlight Express and your days as a cruise director. But in the industry, we always try to leave on a high, don't we, Ernest? I think one of the most important things is leave on a high. So I'm going to play this, and we'll come back and say goodbye afterwards. But before we go...
All right.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone.
Very nice.
That was
Wow.
so good.
There is absolutely nothing we can say after. Ernest, you've been an absolutely fantastic guest. Thank you for everybody for watching. Yeah, and it's goodbye from London. It's goodbye from Minnesota. It's goodbye from Virginia, and of course, it's goodbye from Las Vegas. Bye, everybody.